Okay, just make sure this sounds okay. Okay, just make sure this sounds okay. Okay, it does. Okay, so just before I start off, anybody who's watching the VOD of this, which will be on YouTube later on, I'm gonna kind of rebrand my channel. I don't know. It's been all over the place over the last couple of years. And it seems that most of the people that are new here are here for server stuff, so that's the way it's going to go. So this channel is going to basically be just on Homelab stuff, doing home server stuff, building servers, SAN stuff, that kind of stuff, and we'll move away from any gaming content because I don't really do that anymore anyway, and anything else like that. So I'll make a video about that eventually, and yeah, I'll move any personal stuff over to another channel or something like that. And yeah, so anyways, I'm just gonna wait a little bit and see if we actually get people. Hey, people are here. Cool. Hey, Eduardo. Basically what I want to do today is I've been working on trying to get there's a plugin for OBS called the NDI plugin, and what I want to do with it, I can actually show it. NDI OBS. So I've been trying to use this to build a machine for encoding and encoding only. Let's pause that and move it around. Hey, Titan King. I'm not exactly solid on my setup yet for this. I just kind of threw it together one night. But I have buttons to switch scenes. That's neat. So this plugin, basically what it does is in OBS, it will output anything that's in your preview window. So whatever you're not encoding, yeah, the thing over Ethernet. Yeah, that's exactly it. Anything that anything that's in your preview window will be streamed over your network, your local network, to another machine running the same plugin, and you can pick up that stream and encode on a different machine. The problem is if you go, I guess I go back to here, the machine just in that PC case with the monitor sitting on top of it, I built that just out of my old gaming PC parts, and the problem is this plugin's not it's not compatible with every CPU. So I don't remember exactly what the oh fuck off, Connor. The plugin's not compatible with older AMD CPUs, which is what's in that, and some other CPUs that don't have a certain technology built in. So I did try to use one of my R710s to do this, and the CPU is compatible. The only problem is the CPU usage going to OBS is like 100% without a graphics card to kind of balance out the processing power, I guess, because OBS does use GPU. So I want to take one of my old shitty GPUs, even if I have to take like the plastic off of it and stuff like that, and stick it in my my server and see if I can get it passed through with Proxmox. We're gonna try and do this. I've never done this with Proxmox before, so we'll see if it works. And yeah, see if I can get see if I can get a graphics card running on one of the VMs. I have a Windows VM on Proxmox. If I open this up and see if it's still there. Right now there's not a whole lot running. So I was experimenting with RTMP as well with the Ubuntu Nginx RTMP module that does have encoding stuff in it, but it's really complicated. and you have to write a lot of custom stuff, or not really custom stuff, but you have to, I don't know, you have to dig deep into it, and I wouldn't mind just having a Windows thing that I can remote into and run OBS on it natively and use this NDI plugin. So let's see what I can start with. I kind of have this set up so that I can go over to my rack and work on stuff, and you guys can still hear me and whatnot. I'm gonna see how that works. I don't. Let's see, where's my phone? I'm not sure where that is. I was gonna see if I can pull chat up on my phone and read it from over there. But I think my phone's over there somewhere, so I'll do that when I go over there. I don't think there's anything I have to enable on Proxmox itself until I reboot it. We're running on Intel. This server's, let's see if I can pull up what I'm running. This is just one of the servers. So we're, yeah, see, this is why I want to use this for something, because right now I'm using 1% of the CPU. This used to have my pfSense router on it, but there was issues with the virtual NICs when my modem from my ISP would drop for like a millisecond or something like that. It would completely reset the virtual interfaces, and then they wouldn't come back up, so my internet would be down for a few minutes until I either rerouted or rebooted the pfSense VM. So now that's on an R210. I'm gonna do an updated rack video because it's completely different than the last time I've made a video on it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is shut off all of these. These things I can just do through this. This thing doesn't have a graceful shutdown at all, so that just kind of stops. No, I don't have 10 gig. I don't really need it right now. Just because I'm not moving a whole lot of storage around. And if I was, I could, I don't know, do link aggregation or something like that. I think eventually I'll move to it. What's NVR? This thing can also be shut down gracefully, I think. And this thing I can just turn off because it's not doing anything. Hi, TH Gamer. Once that shuts off, okay, now we can bring down this server. This is on this VLAN. And then we're gonna pull it out and we're gonna stick a GPU in it and see what happens. These things are all these Dell servers are up to everything's up to date. I've got all the firmware up, so hopefully we don't run into any firmware issues or something like that. I've seen it on the Homelab subreddit that people have done this before with GPUs and R710s. They've even actually luckily I have a card that doesn't need extra power, and I'm hoping the PCI slot in the R710 will supply it enough power. But I've seen people having to solder root having to solder to the board. Let's see, chat's not showing up in my OBS thing. Should be nice if it did. It was earlier. I'll just pop it out. I've thought about making Hackintosh, but it's a pain in the ass to get OS X running on AMD CPUs, and that's all the spare stuff that I have lying around. Unless I could build it out of a Xeon server. But I don't really have a use for one. I'm not a fan of OSX, or I don't really have a use for it. So I've got an old AMD HD 6670 that I've got lying around that I'm going to throw in and see if it works. It works fine running OBS in the desktop that's lying on the ground there. It just doesn't, the CPU doesn't, or the plugin for OBS doesn't support the CPU that's in it. So we're going to try and get it running on one of the servers. What was I doing? Oh, shutting this off. We'll shut down the host. Let's pop out chat so I can actually see it properly. And I'm on the right account. I don't know why it's not showing up. Where'd my chat go? Now I'm looking on the wrong side. Okay, so that's off. Is it off? Not yet. So actually we can refresh this. I don't have Java set up, so I can actually use the virtual console with these, because you have to use an old version of Java, and it's a pain to get it to work properly. But we can just kind of refresh this and see what's happening. And then I'll probably have to plug a monitor in, or I should be able to SSH actually to this machine. Do you guys, I don't know, any of you guys watching, do you guys have Homelabs or working on stuff at home similar to this? I didn't really, I didn't know this, I don't know if you guys go on the subreddit at all, but I didn't realize the community around this is so big. And what I use it for is to basically learn as much as I can, and I can apply it to work. I don't need that now. So we're going to go over there, we're going to rip out the GPU once this is off, which it is now. Actually, I can see it from up here. I don't know if you see the orange display on the servers. That's I just actually got a new job. I'm going to be working as a infrastructure consultant for a company, basically a company that helps other companies move stuff to cloud computing, and I'll be doing that. Previously I was in data center. Are you in Europe? Is that why power is so expensive? I've heard I've heard electricity is ridiculously expensive over there. Here it's not too bad. I pay, I think, around in between 9 and 12 cents a kilowatt hour. So I don't leave most of my stuff running. I, like, if I was to use the SAN or something like that, I'd power that up as I'm going to use it. But the only servers that I keep running, I have my unraid NAS that stays on all the time, my network stuff, and just the Proxmox 1R710, and that draws about 350, 400 watts, which is, it comes out to like an extra $30 or $40 a month, maybe a little less. I don't know. I didn't do any math in my head. I'm just guessing. Okay, that's off. I'm gonna go. Actually, let's see, since there's people here and can tell me if this is working. I've got my microphone, I've just got like a lav mic The SAN, it's fiber channel. Oh wow, that's and that's like Euro cents too, which is more than, like, I'm in Canada, so Canadian dollar, 12 cents per kilowatt hour. Pen testing's pretty cool. I did a little bit just looking into how it works and stuff like that in school for one of my classes a while ago, like last 2 years ago or something like that, and it was interesting. I haven't really got into the security side of anything yet, but it's interesting. 15 cents in Sweden. That's not as much as I thought it would be. Seems like the European countries have, yeah, like 35 cents per kilowatt hour. Euro cents? Is it called Euro cents? I don't know. I don't know how to say that. But that's pricey. Let's see if this works. I'm gonna turn off my main mic and turn this one on. And I see if I can see the levels. Okay, that's on now. Tell me if it sounds terrible. Let's turn off this mic. Just let me know if you can hear me, and then I'm going to move over there.
I lost the thread there. Can you phrase it another way?
Okay. Cortana just woke up. I thought I had Cortana turned off. I don't know what I did. Okay, so it sounds okay. I'm going to go pull this GPU out. Actually, I might bring it over here. Oh, you can see over there. Oh, so you're doing... I just finished, which is finally a relief. I've got... I finished my computer science degree, and then I've got a network engineering diploma from a college. It was like a duo, like two schools went in on the same kind of thing program. Okay, I'm gonna get up, and it's on the right camera, I think. Ugh. And set this up on me so it's not rattling around. Maybe hook this to my pants. I don't know what I did with my phone. Oh, there it is. Let's see if I can actually put, before I move over there, I'm going to try and get chat up on my phone. Ugh. I don't know if the studio app does that. Oh, we got 19 people here. That's more than I thought. I didn't think, I don't know, maybe 3 in the afternoon isn't the best time, but I guess a lot of people here are from Europe. I don't know what, I guess it'd be after 5 o'clock over there. I'm in my my in-between job phase right now, so I've got like 2.5 weeks off that I'm gonna try and focus on doing a lot of stuff like this. What was I doing? Studio app. Let's see if I can see my chat from over there. 9 p.m. in Germany. Okay, so. Yeah, okay, so it's later at night for you guys. It's 3:15 p.m. here. That's why I didn't think there was going to be a whole lot of people around. But I guess, I don't know. There's, other countries in the world other than the U.S. and Canada. Does this have live streaming stuff? Comments? No. I guess I could probably Google this. Or I could just open the YouTube app on my phone. That'd probably be easier. if I can pause. Oh, I have an ad on my own thing. Get out of here. Can I see the chat from here? Live chat. There we go. I can see chat now. I'm going to go over here and pull this GPU. And try and make it visible. Oh. It doesn't need to be plugged into anything. That's stuck. Ugh. That can sit over there. Ooh, big comment. "7 a.m. in Australia. Wow. You're done your masters. Oh, so you're almost done. I don't know if you. What do you plan on doing for your network education? Because you can learn a lot of that just studying for certifications. Like if you do your CCNA or Juniper's, whatever that is, JNCIA or something like that, you learn a lot about how routing protocols and stuff like that work just studying for the tests. Oh. All I need is the GPU out of this. Oh. Let's unplug it as well. This is the original gaming PC. I don't know if you can. I don't know. I'm gonna probably evolve this setup since it's relatively. It's already going better than I thought. So, I need to invest in probably some higher. Well, I have HD cameras. I just need to put my capture card back in my PC, and I can have a little bit more camera angles and stuff, which would be nice. And eventually, I'm moving my stuff around so that this whole room is going to be my big home office, and I'm going to move the rack over and be able to get at the back and stuff like that, and then move my room to another room in the apartment once it's cleared out. Yeah, you can do that with AWS. I would highly recommend actually playing with it. It's good to know that stuff. That's where a lot of companies are moving these days, whether it be Azure or everywhere that I've worked is always Azure, or AWS, or even Google Compute now. Don't mind the. Let's see if I can tip this up so you can see. Don't mind the disgusting cable management. I threw this together just to test this. I need a screwdriver. Ugh. This is the lovely card. See if I can. Yeah, those books, they'll help you out a lot. And there's a lot of networklessons.com. I think you had to pay for it. It's like $1 to try for a bit though, but that it is a really good website. It helped me a lot during school doing my network stuff. And then there's a lot of YouTube channels that go over it. Maybe I'll do it eventually. I've done like a routing protocol video once a long time ago. I think it was like one of my ISIS labs. Ooh, this is gross. Should probably clean that out before I put it in the server. Yeah, that's all I need. Where'd my side panel go? And then I can get rid of this thing out of here. Go put it back in its box. And I'll wait the day when I need another old gaming PC. I was going to put the screw back in. Maybe I'll use it later. Just move this out of the way for now. And then after that I have to get to the side of my rack. Because I need to unplug I'm going to put the panel, move this thing out of the way. I'm at the point where I'm just about ready to move everything out of here, so I have stuff in boxes and it's just kind of piled here. And it doesn't help me with when I need to actually get into the rack. I'm just going to go over here, hopefully. It doesn't stop this. Let me check and make sure everything looks okay. I'm stuck. Yeah, that camera kind of sucks. I'm going to have to fix that maybe if I do this again. Maybe add another one. I'm wrapped on my chair. There we go. Let's put that up there. Do we have GPU? Do I have any dust stuff? That is empty. Get rid of that. So all I need to do to get this, oh, it's the top one. So I don't have rails for my this server, so what I do is I take the front cover off this and stick it underneath the server that's on top, because it's screwed in at the front. It just needs support at the back when I pull this out. And then I just need to unplug the cables. This is moved for some reason. We've got power, and then we've got USB cable for my UPS. ILO, which is not called ILO on Dell servers. iDRAC, I guess. White, black, light blue, and dark blue is the colors. I need to label these as well. That's partly what's going to fix these problems. Once I get, basically, this whole rack is going to turn that way, and it's going to be kind of sitting more in the middle of the room. So I'll be able to get all the way around it and do my rear cable management stuff. And I'll probably switch the switches around to the back to make, shorter cable runs and stuff like that, which will help. Let's see if this is in the way. What am I stuck on? Oh yeah. Probably make sure I support this server first. So I just stick the cover in there, and it's the same thickness of this server, so it gives it 2U of support basically. There we go. And that can slide right out. And I'm just gonna hold the power button here to get any charge that's left out. See if there's any new. Hi from Italy. Hey, Giuseppe, I think to pronounce that maybe. I don't know any Italian. How's it going? So, I don't remember exactly which one is which. Do I have PCI lanes long enough for this? That might be an issue, actually. So these are, I've got PCI times 8 on this side. What are these ones? These are also times 8, so I might not be able to do this today. I don't know if you can get different risers, because I've seen it done. Unless I have to just modify the riser. I gotta change the battery out as well. So I get that battery error not happening anymore. Yeah, because I have the room in here to do it, I think. Just mock it up, I guess. Just gonna go that way. Yeah, I definitely have the room to do it. Let's pull the riser out. But, is that a 16 lane PCI slot? Looks like it. I might be able to just get one of those ribbon riser things and use that. I wonder if I can get other risers, because I've seen it. Let's go back to the computer and look this stuff up. It's half the time what I'm doing this. So I'm gonna there we go. Turn my other mic back on. No GPU uses 16x bandwidth. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. If the slot's open in the back, you can just put it in or cut open the riser. Okay. So yeah, I've seen it done on. Oh, they're open. Okay. Well, let's actually look at the riser. Yeah, because I knew GPUs don't use all 16. It's just as long as it fits. Especially that thing. It's like a it's like an old AMD 6000 series from 2010 or 2011. So they're not open, but I can make them open. That's what I'm gonna do. Ugh. Let's hope my knife is sharp enough. Actually, I could probably use a razor blade, would be better. I don't know what the best way to cut this open without cutting myself is. Are PCI lanes all supplied with the same amount of power? Dremel or knife? Yeah, I don't have a Dremel. But can I take this off? Oh, it's got rivets. You're gonna watch me cut myself on stream. Which one do I need? I could probably only cut the one that I want. Let's grab the card. I might take off the stupid shroud as well. Ugh. Just because it doesn't need to look pretty. How do I take this off without breaking it? Yeah, if it'll fit, it'll be fine. How thick is this? Oh. So I pretty much have to cut the whole slot to be the same width as the opening. Well, let's see how this works. And we want the bottom one. So that's how the card's gonna fit. And if I have this in there, it's not. I'm not gonna be able to use the other slot either, which I expected. I've got fiber channel in the other two slots that are that's for, or was for the SAN stuff. I'm probably going to use them as fiber channel targets to hook up my Proxmox to the SAN. That'll be interesting. I'll stream the SAN stuff. Maybe I'll do that next week, but I don't have it completely hooked up. Basically, what I'm doing with that is there's, if you see on the screen, I can kind of point the blue lights. That's my Unraid NAS. If you haven't watched those videos, go watch them because I like them, and I basically built that thing from the ground up. I need to find another LSI card for that because I'm gonna expand to the top row. Right now they're not plugged in, but I've got the camera's not tilted up enough, but just on top of the rack I've got like 8 hard drives sitting up there, and I've got a bunch in that box over there, so I have extra hard drives to throw in there and mirror some of my stuff just for, you know, data security, I guess. And I've got another project where I want to build that's probably what that machine is, that desktop's going to be. I'm going to build like an offsite backup server that I'm going to place in a different location than my house, which will be a neat project. But the SAN, that's what I was talking about. So there's the 210 and the 410 are right above the NAS. Does Unraid work with SMB3 multi-channel? Yes, I think so. I remember watching maybe it wasn't Unraid that I was watching. So what I just looked up a something. How much does what consume? My NAS, or I was gonna play with SMB multi-channel because I saw a video on it like last year or something like that. Yeah, Windows works straight up with the newer, like even Windows 10, I think it works out of the box. I haven't tried it yet, just because I haven't had the cable actually to do it, and I haven't really had the use to do it either. But that would, if it works, then that would be because well, the thing about Unraid is, unless you're using, like, I don't have SSDs for cache right now, so unless you're using some fast SSDs for caching and you're saturating the network, it's not really that much of an upgrade. The difference would be if you had multiple people hitting it. But right now my Unraid read speed isn't enough to saturate gigabit, I don't think. What is gigabit? Gigabit's like 110 megabytes per second. I don't know. The drives that I have in there are kind of shitty. But we can find out. I guess I could do a test. Anyway, what I was looking at, apparently this was 2016. Let's switch over to this. Just looking on the Lime Tech forums, I just googled it. 110, 120. Yeah, that's what I thought. It says that Samba supports it in their newer releases. So I would think that Unraid would support it, because that's how Unraid is using SMB. I don't know. Maybe we'll try it. That'll be a project for. I need to make a list of stuff, because I always forget that. I get in the middle of something and I get distracted by something else and I forget what I was doing. Let's go back to this one. Okay, let's try and cut this thing. I was talking about my SAN. Anyway, there's a Dell 7 or R410 that's right above the NAS in the thing. You can see the drive caddies. Basically, what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to do kind of. I want to try and do a multi-tier storage. So those 4 drives caddies on that, I'm going to put either SSDs or some faster drives in, and have like a tier 1 storage, like have like a tier 1 set for giving higher throughput LUNs, and then that's going to be connected through fiber channel to the fiber channel storage arrays, the big shelves at the bottom, and using ZFS and the iSCSI client for Linux, which has fiber channel target stuff in it. I did this with VM, so I know it works. As long as I can get the fiber channel stuff working properly. I'm a huge noob with fiber channel, so I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing with fiber channel yet. I kind of tried to read the manual on Brocade switches, which is what I have, and it's confusing. But we'll go through it eventually. And then that way I can use that server basically as a SAN head, like a controller for the SAN. And then that server is going to present LUNs to all the other servers. So right now I've got my Proxmox server, and then I've got OpenStack on the bottom 3, and I'm actually the one right below the one that's pulled out right now is going to be an Azure Stack dev environment, just because I need to work on Azure more, just because that's what I use at work, and I need to be an expert at Azure, and so OpenStack's getting put on the back burner for now. Let's see if I can cut this without cutting myself. I think I have a sharper knife in this one. This one will work. Also, welcome anybody who's joined recently. I'm gonna try and do these streams. Maybe I kind of want to try and do one of these a week because it's fun. Well, I'm having fun right now anyway, and it actually gets me working on some of my projects, because you know I could not work on this right now and play a game or something like that, but if I'm streaming and y'all are watching me, hopefully I didn't break that, to be more careful, then it gets me actually working on my projects. Let's see if I can cut this out. Like, kind of wish I had a Dremel. Oh, I can just kind of like peel it out at a little section at a time. There we go. That's working. Whoops. Hey, somebody followed me on Twitch like 22 minutes ago for some reason. I'm not streaming on Twitch, am I? I don't think so. Go back over here. 220 megabits per sec, or megabytes per second. So that's dual. Yeah, okay, dual gigabit. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I saw it. I saw it in a video. Who was it? It was they're level 1 techs now. Wendell. It was one of his videos. I'm assuming you're familiar with him if you watch my videos. He did a good video on SMB multi-channel. Yeah, that makes sense. It's probably a bot. I don't know. I was streaming on Twitch a couple days ago. Yeah, Wendell. He's I don't know, the way he explains things is quality. Nothing crazy fancy with his stuff. It's just knowledge, basically. It's great. I feel like if I heated this up, it would work better. But then I think I'd burn myself. We're making progress. I'm carving a notch into this thing. Wasn't expecting to do this. You know what? I think if I use a serrated blade, this would work better. If I could, like, saw it. I'm gonna go grab one. Grab a steak knife. I'll be back. Let's saw some PCI slots. Yeah, but I don't know. Are the pins actually not connected to anything? They look like they are. I would feel better just cutting this thing apart and making sure that it works. Instead of, I can just Dremel it off, but I don't have a Dremel. Let's see if I could order one right now on Amazon. I don't have Amazon Prime now, though. Yet. Maybe one day it'll come to this city. What's a Dremel cost? I feel like it's something I need to get anyway. $40. Something I'll use eventually. I don't know. That's a thing I probably will pick up later. Let's. I've got a steak knife. It's got a like serrated edge. We're gonna saw this slot open. Oh yeah, this is working. It's working a lot better. I'm not worried about cutting apart this Dell thing, because I know I can get more of them. I don't really feel like cutting a GPU that I might need to use at some point. Making progress. Try not to destroy the pins in here. Oh. Okay, cool. It was Eduardo. Was that who it was? I don't know, it just showed up. I'm using, yeah, there it is. It was you. I'm using the new OBS Streamlabs OBS client just because I thought it looked cool and it seems to work really well. I don't have Twitch enabled on the that little thing above my head. It's just YouTube stuff right now, so I don't know if we get any new subscribers, it'll pop up in there, or I don't know what else makes it do things. I don't know how sponsors work and stuff on YouTube, and I'm not worried about that. But I think they make noises and stuff. How deep is this? Ugh, gotta go quite a ways. Probably isn't the most interesting thing, me sitting here cutting apart plastic. If you have any questions, you know, throw that in the chat about any of my previous videos. I don't think I've uploaded in... I guess the last video I made was the MVR stuff. That was neat. Other than that, I haven't uploaded in like 6 months. But I've been focusing on getting school done so that I can, you know, get a better job, which I finally have secured. Let's get my sharp knife out again. There we go. Cisco or Dell network equipment. I'm pretty impartial. I'm trained in Cisco, but yeah, like I have Cisco now just because I like the command line stuff. I don't really like the way a lot of the browser control stuff works. And if you've seen any of my previous videos before this, like I upgraded this recently, like probably in September or October of 2017. I got new Cisco stuff, and I only got new switches because I ran out of ports and I wanted 2 Cisco. But I had a Dell gigabit switch before, and it worked great. The interface was meh, but I just know Cisco switches and stuff, like Cisco stuff inside and out. It just makes sense for me to have Cisco. But I don't know. I had Dell and it worked great, and I've used HP, the ProCurve stuff, and it works pretty good too. You can't really go wrong with any enterprise equipment. It's just basically down to what you're used to and what you like. And I just happen to like Cisco. Actually, I really like Juniper because I don't know if you guys have ever used anything with Juno S on it. It's basically like using Linux, but a switch. It's built off of Unix, and it's I don't know. I think it's more intuitive command line. Or the command line is more intuitive than Cisco's. It just, you have to change how you think when you're using it, just because it's different. There's other stuff too. Well, now I'm thinking routers, but I've used like Quagga, I think is like a VM router software. It's all command line, built in Linux. I really like pfSense as well. I used to have because I have Cisco switches, and I used to also use Cisco router. The router was lacking and stuff. It was an 1841. It's still in the rack. It's in the back though. I just have it back there originally for a backup, just in case pfSense didn't work out. I could just switch it back on and plug it in. Proxmox instead of ESXi. Just, I don't know, the open sourceness of it. ESXi, the free version, you can't do certain things like clustering. You can't use like vMotion. They do have the I didn't know this at the time when I switched to Proxmox, but they have the it's like vmug. It's like a lab kit you can buy with VMware, but it's also, actually, let's get it out of this metal frame. It'd probably make it easier. It's like $200 a year, so you can use all the enterprise features, which would be interesting. I used to use, I still have ESXi servers elsewhere, just not in my Homelab, and I like it. It's just, I don't know, Proxmox seems more Homelab-y, more if I break it, it's not like I can fix it. I don't know. There's some stuff that I miss in Proxmox that I had in ESXi though. Like I like backups in ESXi better. What was something I didn't like. Just recently in the Proxmox, they updated USB pass-through so it worked properly. And then for like stuff like mass, I have a mass server for controlling bare metal. I wish I could use that with Proxmox, but it doesn't work. There's no plugin to control the power from mass with Proxmox, but there is for VMware, which would be nice. I might switch one day, because the original reason why I went to Proxmox is so I could cluster, and then I never made a Proxmox cluster because I didn't really see a use for it other than learning how to do it. I think we are almost there. As long as this is wide enough to get that in there. Not quite. Make it a little bit wider. This is where a Dremel would come in handy. I wonder if I could use a drill and just have a small drill bit. That would require me getting up and going outside, though. Oopsie. And the point of these, I don't know, the point of this live stream is more, I don't know, not really, it's not the same thing as like my videos. This is more like me trying to figure stuff out. And it kind of helps actually with the collective brains of everyone watching too. I probably wouldn't have thought about this immediately. I would have to do some Googling. Thanks to Schnurley. Is that the one? I think that was you. That if that's how I pronounce your name. And Chris Gasson. You guys were the ones to give me this idea. Had to do some more sawing. Getting stuck on the pins. You know what? I think a drill might work better for this. Let's see if I have my drill bits in here. Continue cutting, I guess. I think I'm chiseling this out. Oh, there we go. There's a big chunk. We're about 3/4 of the way, I think. And I might have to widen it a bit so it actually fits. It's kind of off to the side as well. can't get this to work. There was another thing that I was thinking about doing today. Oh yeah, Azure Stack. I was gonna start working on that. The thing with Azure Stack, if I got the need for Azure Stack. So I didn't know this before recently, but Azure has Azure, like as you know, Azure is a public cloud. It's similar to AWS, Google Compute. It's owned by Microsoft. They have because the reason why I liked OpenStack is it's an on-prem cloud software. So basically, you build it on your own hardware, and you have a lot of the tools that AWS lets you leverage, and same with Azure. And the problem with Azure or even AWS is a lot of financial companies. You can't, like in Canada anyway, you can't move data outside of Canada. It's part of federal law. And you get audited and stuff for that, especially like credit information, payments, stuff like that can't be moved outside of Canada. So for a long time, Azure and AWS were out of the question because there was no services offered in Canada, and that's why private cloud is appetizing for like financial companies basically, and so they can build using just standard hardware. You know, you could get 1,000 Dell R710s and stand up an OpenStack cloud, or I don't know what other private cloud software there is out there, but and you can have it all done in-house. The problem with OpenStack is there's a lot of customization involved. There's a lot of tuning to get it to your business's workflow. And with Azure, I don't know if any of you have ever used Azure, but it's pretty streamlined. It's a really nice interface, all done in PowerShell. You can do everything command through PowerShell. And I like the fact that, the only thing I didn't like was that there was no on-prem private version of it, but it turns out there is, now that once I looked into it, and it's Azure Stack. And they have a dev kit, but the requirements for it, it's kind of a pain in the ass. If I can find where it is. You need I need 5 hard drives total. Let's get the prerequisites is what I want. Let's switch to here. So I need an OS disk, and then I need 4 extra disks, and I didn't have enough hard drives. And the thing is, I only need 140 gigs on these drives. All I have is 1 terabyte drives, and I didn't really want to use up my larger capacity drives, or my 1 and 2 terabyte drives anyway, to do this. But I think I might anyway, just to get it up and running. Oh, the recommended is 250 gigs. Either way. So I have a 250 that I'm probably going to use for this, or an SSD. And then I've got one 500 gig drive, and then I've got 4 1 terabyte drives that I could use for this. 16. I have 12 cores in the system. I'm a little low on the RAM. I'm only 64 gigs of RAM. I'm hoping that doesn't matter. This is minimum support. What's P? What's P? I don't remember what that one is. Let's find out. Platform as a service. Okay. Well, I don't really need to, I'm not building a production environment. I just want to see if it works. So let's find out. I'll find out if it works with less than the recommended RAM. And everything else is good. And I think I just have to... Oh, I have Windows Server 2016, so I don't need to use 2012. So maybe we'll do that. If I can't get this to work. Right now I'm still carving up this, for anyone who joined recently, I've got a Dell riser that I'm currently carving the back of the PCI slide out so I can put this GPU in here. I'm trying to also talk at the same time. Oh, let's check this quickly. I started this before I ate lunch today, so I should probably do that at some point as well. Okay, back to carving. Actually, that might fit. Let's find out. Goes this way. It's not wide enough at the top. But it should be almost deep enough to go in all the way. Just need to widen it, and I think we're good. There's a chunk. And a bit of an overhang. Oh, so close. Still too tight. You guys have any suggestions on stuff you'd like to see in a video? 'Cause I need video ideas as well. I'm gonna try and step up my my production quality a little bit for the regular videos, just because I don't really like how I was doing the old ones. Just they were kind of like vlog style, holding my phone kind of thing, and I want to make it a little prettier and a little bit more thought out each time I make a video instead of just picking up a camera and going. Oh, there's a big chunk. I'm almost at the bottom. Ooh, looks like I bent a pin. Let's hope that still works. Oh, so close. We're like a couple millimeters off. But I got it all the way in now. I just need to make it deeper by very little. Without breaking any of these. Does are all the pins necessary? Is that a dumb question? Is I might have messed one of them up. Yeah, it should still make contact if they're all attached at the bottom like I think they are. Oh, there's a screw here. There's my screwdriver. I'll just take it out with my knife if I can. Oh, that's a little tight. Get it off this metal bracket and see if I can get more room to work. Got my desk coated in plastic dust now. There we go. That back there for now. I hope I didn't cut that in half. Yeah, looks like I just bent it a little bit. Ah. Almost like I need a mini saw. Does it fit? Oh, so close. Wonder if it'll run with half the pins, not all the way in. I feel like it just needs to be contacting the metal in the inside the slot. It's on the back here. Can I pop this out actually? No, because there's little tiny little pins inside. Let's not do that. Takes a long time to go a couple millimeters. Ooh. try this. Couple more seconds digging. This is how close we are right now. So very close. Okay, I think we're at the point where we can try it. Where it'll actually sit in here and sit in the server properly. So let's try it. I'm gonna switch my mic back over to the other one, which I think, let's unmute it and mute this one, and I'll be back over by the server. Turn this back on and make sure I'm hearable from this before I start doing stuff. We've got audio levels coming up. That's good. Okay. Well, let's shove this back in here. Oh, I gotta put it back on this riser. I need that. And I need my chat again. Wrong thing. There we go. Let's take this out for now. Don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to throw this back together quickly. Which way did this go? It goes this way. Do these slot things. Oh, that needs to go in there. Okay, cool. Let's put this screw back in, and then we can throw it back in the server and see if this will actually work. That's back on. Just make. There we go. Okay, let's clip this back to my pants so it doesn't drag around behind me. There we go. Okay, let's GPU this Dell R710. I need to take this out and take out these things. And I will keep in this, I guess. And I don't know if it's better to put. I gotta put this back in first, I think. There's little pins that lines up to, and it clicks in. Okay, cool. And then we just gotta stick this thing in here. And it goes in the bottom one. I don't actually need the outputs for anything. Okay, we have a card in now. Let's see what happens. I kind of want to turn it on with the thing off just so I can see it running. I know I'm not supposed to do that. But we're going to do it anyway. See if I can put this back on. Yep, cool. So now we've got, you can see, I think, we've got a GPU in our server. I just need a power cable. Which this one is plugged into that, so this will work. Oh, I have both the... That's why I have one of the power lights. Let's pull one of these PSUs out. Let's see if I can get it out without having to go behind. Cool. So if you pull these out, I'm not running dual power right now because it's just going to one plug. If you pull them out, it just stops the warning light on the front from being there. And I forgot that I didn't pull it out of that one yet, because all the other ones don't have their second power supply plugged in. Okay, so we're plugged in. Let's let the iDRAC start up, and it should give me an intrusion alert. Oh, we got comments. Good luck. Yeah, it's still going. Yeah, finally got to the interesting part instead of me sitting chipping away at chipping away at plastic for 40 minutes. So what am I doing here other than GPU in a server? Are you home now? What we're trying to do is I'm just trying to, 'cause I want to stream more. It's kind of fun, even if it's on Twitch and game related. I want to basically build a VM for encoding. Let's see if this works. I'm going to turn this off immediately. If the fan, oh, we got. Okay, it works. The fan's spinning. That means it's got power. Not sure if it's going to show up in Linux or not. But we'll put the... Nothing's on fire either, which is good. We'll put this back on and plug it in and see what happens. I don't mind doing stuff like this because I have quite a lot of backup parts for R710s. Slide this thing back in and we'll plug the network back in and see if it works. This actually means it probably is going to draw more power now, because when I had that in, I used to have a rack mount thing, like a rack mount, let's pull this out, a rack mount chassis for like a desktop, like an ATX rack mount chassis. I had this thing in here and it uses about 40 watts of power just for the GPU. That's back. Let's plug it in. Got DRAC. Got network 1. Network 2. I'm probably gonna have to unplug all this again eventually. I'm gonna leave the fiber channel unplugged. I don't need it right now anyway. Piece of tape stuck to that. What's left? My USB cable needs to be plugged in, and our power. Hopefully that wasn't important. Good, I think. Nothing turned off. I think that was just resting up there. Okay, so this is the 410 that's going to be my SAN head node eventually. And then we've got 14 terabytes of fiber channel disks down here, and they're loud and power hungry. So I don't know if I can even run them on the same circuit as my rack. Is this on? Power unavailable in standalone. Okay, whatever. Just make sure iDRAC booted back up, and we'll go over there and start it from there. I'm gonna switch mics again. Okay, we're back over here. I can read your chat because I was trying to get that done. What server is this? It's a Dell R710. Oh, Connor did that. Oh, somebody did something. Captures music. Thank you for subscribing. If you're watching, not sure. I think it does if anybody subscribes to my channel. So I've got a notification. Yeah, the R710s are. Well, I got the switch I have in there is a 3650 or 3560, not 3650. Yeah, I know it's time. It's happening this week, so it'll probably be up by. I'm gonna say Saturday, since I'm busy tomorrow, and I'll probably film it on Friday. And I'll go through everything that I have in here, because it's been a long time since I actually did an update. Starkey 3000, thank you for subscribing, if you're watching. See, I don't know about the subscriber thing, just because it could be just people subscribing on my videos. Say something in chat, and I'll acknowledge you. Okay, let's see if iDRAC is up. 10... I gotta refuse to connect. This happens when it's booting. Hey, thank you for subscribing, Starkey. There we go. Now let's see if we can get this to actually boot successfully. That. Well, I hope to do more eventually. I don't. If you just subscribe now, I'm not sure if you've seen the NAS built, but that the blue lights in the rack there, that's an unraid server. I guess you can't see it right now. I'll switch over here. The blue lights in the rack, they are that's my NAS, and I've got a series of videos building that basically from scratch, from like an eBay Chenbro chassis through building it up and putting, we've got an LSI RAID card in it, or HBA card. Let's turn this thing on. It's going to be loud for a second. Power on system, apply, go. It might be quieter now that the case is closed, but they're loud at start, and then once they get past the boot screen. That's exactly correct, No Name. The goal is for an encoding server for streaming, but you know, having a GPU and a server, I guess you can do other stuff. I'm not exactly sure what that would be. I guess maybe doing video encoding, like rendering, that'd be okay. That GPU is not powerful at all, but like by a far margin. It's garbage, but it takes some load off the CPUs when I'm trying to do this OBS stuff. Well, it seems to be on. Let's see if we can connect to it. Yeah, I have a Dell, the R210. I found, because I got the R210, it's 1U above. So if you look at the NAS in the rack, I guess I should switch over to this view. The NAS, which is the blue lights, and then above that there's a 410, and then above that is the 210, and that's my pfSense router. If you want to make them quieter, get iDRAC. Just getting the Express card, if you don't have iDRAC Express, that's what controls the fan. So, or all the fans. So if you have that in and there's no load on the server, your fans are silent. So all my R710s have iDRAC Enterprise, and then I got actually I think I swapped one out from one into the 210 just so it would quiet down, because without iDRAC they're incredibly loud, and it would be impossible to sleep next to it, which hopefully I don't have to do for much longer. Okay, let's go back to here. And it is the PV host, I think. This might be the old one. No, it's this one. Don't mind my dumb names for stuff. Let's actually see if I can connect to the web panel. Let's do... It's not up yet. It might not be booted completely. Or it might be stuck on something, some PCI error. I could probably plug a monitor into it. Let's go to the home and see what this thing has on it. I don't know if there's such thing as cheap RAM anymore. Oh, it's still booting. Okay. These things take a little while to go through all of their pre-checks. Like right now, I don't think you can see that. It's too small, but it's looking at the fiber channel card BIOS and configuring the RAM. So this server is 64 gigs of DDR3, 1333 megahertz memory, and it's got dual L5640s in it, so they're low power. I think the TDP is like 60 watts per CPU at full load, and I'm not going anywhere near full load. And then they're 6 cores, 12 threads a piece, so I've got 24 threads that I'm using on these. I've got my RAM. You can get it on eBay. I'm not sure what country you're in, but eBay is pretty good if you can find some deals. If you have local classifieds, like I'm in a bigger city, so there's a lot just on classifieds. Other than that, even if you can find some scrap stuff, or initializing BIOS now. Even if you find webuy.com, never heard of that. Huh. Apparently they're closing in the United States. So if you're in the US, you're out of luck. But things like New Zealand. Okay, I don't know anything about that side of the world. So if you guys have like in Canada we have a thing called Kijiji, which is like local classifieds. The US has Craigslist, stuff like that. Even the Homelab subreddit, they have an exchange subreddit you can probably find, but you're not going to find the cheapest RAM there unless someone's trying to just get rid of all their stuff. Just done yet? It's getting there. Yeah, that's the problem when you're like in the US. It's so easy to find cheap stuff just because companies upgrade so often, and then there's a lot of tech industry in the States where like e-cyclers and eBay really pick that stuff up, and you can get it for dirt cheap. Most of my stuff I've got locally. Then I go down to the States once or twice a year and buy some stuff and bring it back with me. It's another good way to get cheap stuff if you live in Canada anyway. Collecting system inventory. I don't think it normally does that. Yeah, I can do that actually. I've got a Cisco 7911 that I've got flashed to SIP, and I had an asterisk server set up at some point, and then I just didn't migrate it over from when I switched from my PC Proxmox thing to one of the Dell servers. So I do plan on doing that actually in the future, doing either free PBX just because it's generally easier than asterisk. Asterisk is a lot of configs and stuff, and free PBX is just kind of like a an interface on top of asterisk. I work in cloud computing. I'm a infrastructure consultant for a company that basically gets other companies up to date on latest technology, kind of thing like that. Like a company would say they're running an old Exchange server and they need to move into the future and go to the cloud and move to like Office 365, consult for Office 365 migrations, Azure, stuff like that. Hashing, calculations, mining. Yeah, I'm not too into the mining stuff just because it's I don't know at this point right now, but it's not worth the electricity that I pay, and I don't feel like investing in cards that are actually useful for mining. But yeah, having a GPU, you can actually, I guess you can mess with that. And even if I doubt that I would ever get into making crypto or anything like that, but if you were developing a cryptocurrency, it'd be good to have a server with GPU in it. Windows Vista. It's I've never owned a PC with Vista. I went from XP to Windows 7. Now's the best time, yeah, I guess. Do we have... Okay, is this done yet? See if this will load. Hey! We actually loaded into our OS, so that's a good sign. And my... This is... Actually, I'm gonna do a video on this. This is cool. I'll open the control panel. This is my wireless LAN controller. Because I don't use my garbage... Oh, I started on Windows 95 as well. I don't use my garbage router that... What a beep. I don't know what that was. It sounded like a horn or something. I don't use the garbage modem router Wi-Fi combo thing that my ISP gives me. I've got Cisco. Oh, it's not loaded up yet. I've got Cisco Cisco APs, and then you can actually use their wireless LAN controller software on a VM. They have like a virtual version of it, and you're supposed to have licenses for it, but and it's supposed to run out in 30 days, but mine's been going for like 6 months now, and I haven't needed a license for it, so I'm probably going to do a tutorial on that if anyone ever... Like nowadays, you can get Cisco APs for cheap, and you know, if you want them and you're in the GTA area, I have 6 of them for sale, since I bought 10 of them, since it was cheaper to buy 10 than it was to buy 2. Private network with your friends, point to point. Yeah, that'd be cool. I've never messed with point to point wireless stuff, but I learned a lot about it. But yeah, VoIP. VoIP is actually really easy once you kind of, I don't know. I guess it's not really easy. If you have hardware that works together and it's not a hassle to get working, then it's relatively easy. And the protocols are relatively easy to understand. Like, you just need to understand how, if you're using SIP, how SIP signaling works, and how RTP works to transport the voice data after. I definitely will be making a VoIP video because I know a decent amount about it, and I can go pretty in depth on VoIP, and I have a phone that works too. And even like the thing is, once you get VoIP set up, as long as you have yeah, I've used Asterisk. I've done a lot of Asterisk stuff. And then free PBX is like a layer on top of Asterisk. They use Asterisk as the engine below the UI. But I started with Asterisk, just base Asterisk installed on Ubuntu. And it's a lot of going through config files and stuff, but it's relatively simple to set up. And then after that, it's like you can go as complex as you want in dial plans and stuff like that, setting up NVR, or not NVR. Is it NVR? Something voice I don't know. IVR, interactive voice recording. You can do that stuff. It's fun. Yeah, it's just basic networking is it's really good to know. Even just even like the separate layers, like how the difference between layer 2 and layer 3, and how like you can get into like routing loops and stuff like that. It makes it easier to troubleshoot stuff that could actually happen like in your house. Even if you're not looking at networking as a background, just knowing how like Ethernet frames work and the difference between layer 2 and layer 3 really helps troubleshooting, especially if you learn how to use something like Wireshark or TCP dump. Figuring out why stuff doesn't work is really easy. Hey DG Vincent, how's it going? Network rendering, that's it's a really interesting field. Network rendering. That was actually way back in the day when I bought my first like surplus server. That's what I wanted to do, is make like a render farm. Free PBX asterisk on a VM. Yeah, it works really well. And you can actually, I had a project in school with asterisk where, well, it wasn't really a project, it was like a research thing. I guess I could probably work on what I was doing at the same time as talking. But we did a research thing where we were trying to scale. Say it like Vincent. Okay, DJ Vincent. We were trying to scale Asterisk using HA proxy as a load balancer and then multiple Asterisk servers, and kind of spread out calling. That'd be like for like a service provider for VoIP. You do something like that, and we were trying to get it to work with OpenStack, scaling cloud-wise, it was really cool. So it's really good to learn stuff like that. Yeah, if you get something where it works on two, and you get it to the point where you can just add a machine and it works, that's key, and you could make a business out of it. Lost my train of thought. Now let's I'm logged in now. Okay, let's look at what we got for instructions on PCI pass-through in Proxmox, because now we have this up. Is there a command where I can see there's like lsblk for block. Is there like lspci? Does that work? Oh, it does. Cool. So what do we got? I guess I could search this, but AMD. There we go. It's there. It shows up. Now we just need to pass this device through. Yeah, well, even though you're out of school, like I just finished like last week. Like my last exam was like a week ago. But it's always good to learn this stuff, because you never know if you all of a sudden feel like changing your field of work. Knowing this stuff, and even just having a home lab in general, and even like putting it on resumes and stuff like that, or explaining it when you're trying to find a new job or a new career, having that stuff on your resume and knowing a little bit about something, it goes a long way and kind of adds on to your schooling. Okay, now we got to figure out what we're doing. PCI pass-through allows you to use a physical PCI device, graphics card, network card inside a VM using KVM virtualization, which I'm using. If you PCI pass through a device, the device is not available to the host anymore. That's fine. I don't need it. PCI pass-through is experimental feature in Proxmox V, so we'll software expert at a toy store. That sounds pretty cool. Just started high school. Well, you're in high school in a good time. You got a lot of stuff that you can learn. Like learning enterprise stuff in high school will set you up pretty well for moving on later on. Like when I was in high school, I was set on being a small engine mechanic and doing mechanical stuff, and I'm a hands-on learner. That's why I was going that way, and I like turning wrenches. And I looked at the industry and where the money was, and technology is where the money is. Not necessarily you can't make a good living being a mechanic and stuff like that. It would have been fine, but the tech industry is where you want to be right now. Maybe it might not be the same thing 10 years from now. Who knows? But I completely switched everything that I was learning to computer science and stuff like that, and then went through 5 years of university and college for networking and computer science. And knowing stuff beforehand would have helped a lot, because like learning to program in university before doing a lot of it before going there, it would have helped a lot if I knew even a little bit about software development and network and stuff before going to university. And it makes it a breeze once you know stuff like that. Eric, I don't know how to set that up, so if you're still listening, tell me how. Sell software for invoice management. All the money is in IT. It is even more so when the way things are being automated, and that's why I got interested in DevOps and cloud automation, is because companies are in the business of making money, and they want to make money, and how you make money is lowering your operational costs and increasing your product revenue. So if people can, instead of having systems administrators standing up servers and building them and stuff like that, and having a whole team of sysadmins doing that with physical servers, you can save quite a lot of money if you get rid of them, which some people, it sucks that people lose their jobs, but it's the way things go, where you have to adapt to the new environment. And the way things are going is compute is distributed in the cloud, and you have a small group of engineers automating all these sysadmin tasks previously. So say a company, say like a web host company, you've got people building systems for and adding systems to host web servers. Well, you can do that very easily using automation tools and something like Azure, AWS, or even OpenStack on your own hardware, and tools like Ansible, SaltStack, I don't know why I can't think of any other automation tools right now, and things like continuous integration with Jenkins, or I think GitLab does CI stuff. It gets easier and easier to have less people working on your infrastructure than and then having a team of sysadmins building stuff. So Docker, I have yeah, IT. Get in IT department. It's fun. It's really fun work too. Docker, I don't have a huge amount of experience with Docker. I experimented with it. That's another reason why I have Proxmox, is you can run containers. They're not Docker containers, but LXC containers. And just like OpenStack, you can actually run Docker containers in OpenStack. There's a module for it. I like it. It's more if you were working on like an application, like a mobile app or something, and you have to update your server code. Docker is a great way for just killing all the old ones, or you systematically upgrade to the new, like you put out the new containers and then bring the old ones offline, and you have zero maintenance time, and it just switches over. But I don't know a whole lot about containers. Tatafera, Proxmox. I chose Proxmox. I was talking about this earlier. I chose Proxmox just because of the open aspect of it, and using the enterprise tools that it gives you, that something like ESXi you have to pay for. I recommend Proxmox. I'm not too familiar with Zen Server, but from what I've seen at work, it's people complain about Citrix and stuff like that a lot. That's just what I've heard. It could be perfectly fine. I've never used it before, but I recommend Proxmox over ESXi if you're gonna switch. ESXi is good if you pay for the licensing, and you can use all the cool toys and stuff, but I don't feel like spending $200 a year on it when I don't actually even use ESXi in my work. When you move, like once you're in a position at a company, usually you can get you'd be able to get an ESXi VMUG license if you were working on it at work. They'll pay for that for you. Like I get an MSDN account with all the Microsoft licensing for free. Yeah, the free license for ESXi, it really kind of ties you down to just basically running virtual machines, and that's about it. I'm sure if they made somebody made an AI that was self-aware, they'd be offered a lot more than £100,000 in for companies trying to buy the software. So AI, I know nothing about AI. I didn't. My software development was more like application development and enterprise resource management kind of software and stuff like that. I did robotics, but AI is a completely different field of computer science, computer engineering that I have no idea about. It's really cool though, how like neural networks work and stuff like that. That's something I would actually be interested in learning more about. I'm gonna calm down a little bit here and actually work on our project a little bit because I'm getting distracted. You guys are you guys are making good conversation though. I like it. I love this. Let's do just make sure that's running properly. Okay, let's see what the PCI pass-through wiki on Proxmox says. So we need to edit stuff. If there's no output, then something is wrong. Okay, well let's just go step by step. Well, that's half the time how you figure out how this stuff works. Let's move this so I can actually see it. They could always do AI issues, finding a way for machines to remember all it's learning, but like I said, tech costs are finally getting there. Some cool stuff coming soon. Yeah, I'm really excited to see just the amount that technology has progressed in the past 10 years is so rapid, and even the past, like, say 25 years. It's insane how fast it's caught on and progressed. I'm excited to see what the next 10 years. Oh, you can't post a link? A link should work. I don't know. I don't know how YouTube chat works. Like I said, I'm new at streaming on YouTube. I need a drink. I've been talking too long. I got a water bottle somewhere. Well, that's the link. I'm assuming it's mir.co.uk/that. Well, it didn't work. Either way, it sounds pretty interesting. And I'm sure, I don't know, maybe get into AI, see if you can figure it out. That'd be a nice chunk of money. What am I doing? PCI pass-through. We gotta edit a file in ESXi default and grub. Grub's a bootloader, I believe. So it says grub command line Linux default quiet. This is what we have to change. And we just have to add. Oops. What did I do? Okay, let's use nano because Vi is not working properly for some reason, or there's a different method in in Proxmox. I don't know. Let's do our. Okay, I'm on the right screen. I always forget that I can change the view. We need to add Intel, because we're using Intel CPUs. IOMMU equals on. Hopefully I don't need to have some specific CPU or something to support this. IOMMU, I wonder what that means. PC with free will, for instance, might open Microsoft Word or play itself at chess without being prompted, or refuse to turn on altogether. There's a there was a it was an AI that they were trying to teach it to play Tetris, and it got to a point where like it could play, but it didn't think ahead enough to like it was kind of a thing where they gave an AI Tetris and didn't give it any rules or explain how it worked, and just kind of had to get it to figure out how Tetris worked on its own and try to win the game. And it got to the point where it was getting to the top where it was about to lose, and it figured out that if it just didn't play, it would never lose, because it was programmed to just not lose, win the game. That's all it was told to do. And so it paused it before it lost and just stopped, and that was it. And I thought that was interesting, because it would rather pause and never finish and sit in limbo than it would to lose. But that's how it figured out, like that's its decision on how to not lose the game. AI is cool. That's all I have to say. So that's done. I think it's Control O to save. Yep. And then we have to update grub. Don't know what this does. Oh, and I spelled it wrong. Grub. Do something cool. Don't give me error messages. War games. Deadlock. Yeah. Deadlock. That's what it is. It's similar to just generic deadlock in like CPU execution. War games. Let's Google that. Never heard of it. Oh, maybe I have heard of this. I don't think I've ever seen it though. I might have to watch that. Yeah, this I'm gonna leave it up on YouTube. No editing or anything. I'm just gonna make it public. So if you feel like going to bed or something, yeah, it'll be available. I'm gonna stop. Well, I can't stop because I have to finish doing this. But once I get this working, or if I fail miserably, then I'm going to stop, because I haven't eaten yet today, and I would like to do that. So things showed up. Oh, we got AMD. AMD functionality not available in the system. Why? Maybe it's just not that. If there is no output, then something went wrong. Well, I have an output, so it worked. Now it says there's required modules that I have to add. Let's see if I can figure that out. Yeah, well, if you're if you're taking off, then yeah, it'll be available. You can watch it later. I've definitely heard of the movie before, but I've never seen it. Yeah. Well, the thing is, once AI can think for itself, it's going to be more like AI will start reprogramming itself to the point where we don't know what it's doing, and that's where it gets scary. That's why Elon Musk wants to limit what we do with AI. I don't remember where I heard this, but I thought there was something. I think it was Facebook that was messing with AI, and then it started it started changing its own source code to the point where the engineers weren't sure what it was doing, so they just turned it off. I don't know if that's real or not. I just heard it somewhere. So we need these modules. let's make this so we can see both of what I'm looking at. There. So you guys can also see what I'm reading. So it doesn't, was it Google that did that? Just so that doesn't look like I'm just pulling this information out of the back of my head or something like that. I'm reading a wiki. Which is basically what you do when you're playing with this stuff. Exactly, that's where it gets really scary. Yeah, it's better depending on who has the power and what it's doing. But yeah, it's all perspective. So we just did this, not that for AMD. We did this for our Intel CPU, and we ran that, and this is what we got out of it. I'm hoping this doesn't have something to do with it. I have another graphics card I think I can throw in there maybe, but let's see if we can get it working with this. It will not be possible to use PCI pass-through without interrupt remapping. Systems that don't support interrupt remapping. All systems using AMD processor. Good thing I'm not using that. Not available yet. All systems using Intel processor and chipset that have support for Intel virtualization technology for directed IO VTD, but do not have support for interrupt remapping. Well, I think this means that we're good because we have enabled interrupt remapping. So I think we're good. Oh, and I got a whole bunch of stuff. Let's read what you guys have to say. Yeah, YouTube uses a neural network to give you suggested videos. It feeds your habits into the neural network and then presents you. It gets an output of what you should be suggested, and it does that for every user. It's really cool how they do it, and it's all automated. What I'm doing, so basically, I put a GPU in. Well, I guess it's closed now, but the server up there. And I'm basically building an encoding server for streaming, and I thought it'd be neat to stream doing that. So I also plan on doing some other stuff later on next week, this week, probably on the weekend. We're already at 2 hours. My goal, I kind of want to do like 3 hours a week of doing something like this, just so I can keep in the Homelab groove of actually completing projects. But yeah, we've got a GPU in the server, and basically we're trying to configure PCI pass-through with Proxmox and see if we can get it working. I don't know if it'll work. That's why I'm live streaming it and not making a video on it, because if it doesn't work, then I'd never have anything to show for it. And live streaming, at least, you know, you guys get to see what I'm doing. That is exactly what I'm doing for Zell. What was I doing? So we have enabled interrupt remapping, so I think that means we're good. Run that command on the IOMMU lines. The hexadecimal value after ECAP indicates whether the interrupt remapping is supported. Where is that? Oh, it's a different command. Let's run that. Let's see if we can see anything. ECAP. Okay. The hexadecimal value after ECAP indicates whether interrupt remapping is supported. If the last character of this value is an 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, or F, interrupt remapping is supported. So For example, ECAP 1000 indicates no interrupt remapping supported. ECAP 10207F indicates interrupt remapping support. The last character is an F. We only enabled if well, we've got a 6, and that's not an 8, 9, A, B, C, D, or E, or F. So that's not a good sign. Is it rare? I don't know. It just seemed that just seemed to be the way to read it. I'm using Dell R710s. Oh, I've got 5 R710s, an R210 Gen 1, and an R410 as well. I'm gonna try it anyway, even though this isn't. It doesn't have the F at the end. Oh, I can run the script to determine if your system is. Well, let's run the script and see what happens. Let's do. Where are we? We're at home. So let's make a new. We'll do check. Inner IR, sure, why not? .sh. And if I do this right, new file, just throw that in there, save it, and exit, and we should have that now. And now if we oops, permission denied. Why? Do I have to? Am I doing something wrong here? Am I being dumb? Oh, see, okay, never mind. We're on Proxmox. It's different than things. Can I just do? Either or. The 210 seems to be, it would generally be cheaper just because it's a single CPU and it's a lot smaller. But if you have the option to get the R710, you got a lot more upgradability and a lot more power that you can get out of it. Like my R210 has like an X3430 or something like in it, and it's just a generic quad core. Actually, I can check. And then I've got dual 6-core 12-thread CPUs in the R710s, and then you can expand RAM up to like I think 128 gigs, or it might be 196 or something, or 192 max with the new firmware. $710 with 2 X50 650. So the 5650s, those are like I think there's maybe one higher than that, but those are the basically when you're looking at Intel, there's X, E, and L, and they all are a different category of. I don't know if it's just the power consumption, but X is like the performance series. Then there's E, which is I think just standard in the middle or whatever, and then there's L, which is the economic, I guess, low power. And I'm using the L just so I don't use as much electricity. The TDP on the X series is like 130 watts or something like that. But yeah, that's you've got six cores, 12 threads, and JJ Jacer, thank you for subscribing. And you've got the room to upgrade. Oof. I feel bad for you guys over in Europe because oh, I'm just doing VM stuff. Stalefish. My GPU is not. It's an old one. 500 euros. That's crazy to think for an R710. but they're a lot more prevalent. I think I see a lot more HP stuff is available to, like, I don't know where you are in Europe, but in the UK, it seems like HP is the more prevalent brand. But here you can pick up Dell stuff on, like, you can get an R710 fully loaded for like $250. And in the States, like, my buddy bought basically a loaded, I think it's an HP, I think it's a DL360 G7 or G6, and it was like $50. But it all depends on where you live, because if there's lots of companies that are getting rid of enterprise hardware, it's easier to find, right? If your system doesn't support interrupt remapping, you can allow unsafe interrupts. Ooh. We don't actually need to run this because we can see what it's doing. I don't know how stable we're going to be with this, but if it doesn't work, we'll try it. You need dedicated IOMMU group for your PCIe devices. ACS. Well, we'll try this remapping stuff and see if it works. Where'd my chat go? I lost it. The amber orange, it just means there's a hardware error, and all it is in that one is the RAID battery is dead. I just need to change the battery, but I haven't got around to it, and it's not that important anyway. That server actually doesn't have anything running on it, so that's going to be my Azure Stack server. Yeah, it's just with the Dell servers that have iDRAC Express installed, that little screen will give you information about your hardware. I'm surprised the top one's blue, because the battery's dead in that one too, but I guess it's got a charge or something, I don't know. They're regularly blue when they're running. And the three below are turned off. Those are all OpenStack servers. It's a cluster. I'm behind on my chat. Yeah, 120 seems pretty good deal for a 410. HP locking their updates and firmware. Yeah, that's the problem with HP is that's the best thing about Dell is they have all their firmware updates and everything just out in public. So I was able to update all of these servers with the latest firmware for everything that's in them, and they give you a nice little ISO that you can put on a USB stick, and you just boot it up on the server and it'll update all your firmware. It's great. So that's one reason to go for Dell. Let's answer stale fish. Do I keep my rack running while I sleep next to it? Yes. The Dell servers, they're pretty quiet when they're not under load. The only thing I leave on my network stuff, my 210, which has pfSense, so that answers your other question, sailfish. And then I leave on my NAS, which is that blue light box, which is silent. It has Noctua fans in it. It's great. If you haven't seen the video on me building that, I'm going to plug it again for anyone new here. Go check that out. And then the one Proxmox host I keep running as well because it runs my WLC and stuff like that. It actually, honestly, after I've had it beside my bed for 3 years now, and you kind of when you go sleep somewhere else that doesn't have the kind of the white noise in the background, it's weird. It's weird sleeping without the hum of switches and stuff. So I actually like having it here, and I'm moving my sleeping arrangements into another room in my apartment to make this like a big office, and I think it's going to be weird not having that sound anymore. That's one of the main reasons why I have the switches and stuff is like all my Homelab stuff is completely segregated from my house internet. Actually, let's go over my network just cause why not? Just to kind of show how it's segregated. So I have a bunch of VLANs. Some of them are in use, some of them are not. I gotta catch up on chat first, just so I'm not stacking stuff up, and I don't want to miss anybody. pfSense, I used to have it on VM, and I had issues with the virtual NICs disconnecting. Oh, and I should probably change my view. There we go. I had issues with the virtual NICs disconnecting, so I switched it to bare metal. So I got a 210 to run that. Caught up on my videos. Yay! For a budget starting out, Dell 210 with 4 gigs of RAM and 4 cores. I've run out of RAM, but want to buy another server rather than upgrade for clustering. I would recommend the 710. It's like it's a universal thing. It's good for everything. You can run anything on it. It's good for clustering. It's good for running VMs. It's good for a standalone host. It's great. I would definitely recommend an R710 if you can get it. Or even a 510. They have more drive bays. Or even a 410. But I recommend Dell just because of the firmware. Earmuffs, yeah. I have a Cisco router. It's not turned on right now. Yeah, running pfSense on just on a 2600K, you might want to like pfSense. It runs fine in a VM. I don't know if it was just my isolated issue that was happening with the virtual NICs that I was using and Proxmox, so it might work better if you use ESXi or something like that. I just wanted to get my my pfSense off my Proxmox host so that I could reboot the Proxmox host and stuff whenever I wanted without the internet going down. Yeah, that's a good idea with the timers. What plugins do you recommend for pfSense? I don't have any plugins, and I haven't really looked into it. But anyway, let's go over my network just because why not? So I have my WAN is basically, I have my ISP's router thing, and I just have Wi-Fi disabled on it, and then I just have one hardwired IP. And I have that because I was thinking about doing HA pfSense just to figure out how it works, and have like a floating IP and stuff like that. But that's just where my internet comes in. That's my outside of my my NAT basically. VLAN 2 is my my generic LAN for home internet, which everyone else in my apartment uses for internet, and then the wireless is on that as well. VLAN 3 is my guest network. It just has some extra rules in the firewall, basically allowing them to only use like websites and stuff, and not a whole lot else. VLAN 7 is my camera VLAN, and for like security devices and IoT devices. Squid and Snort. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. I've used Snort before, not pfSense. Plugin version of it. I've used I've installed it on Linux for security labs and stuff like that. PF blocker. Is that the ad blocker thing? PF blocker? Yeah, I'm double net. It doesn't. I haven't had any issues with it. So basically, how I have it set up is my Bell router. Spoiler alert: my ISP is Bell. They're awful, but my Bell router has my pfSense router in its DMZ, so it's just every port is open towards the pfSense router. So it's basically like I have yeah, I'm in Canada. It's basically like I have the pfSense straight to my modem, but my modem is also the Bell router, so it just works. It's not ideal, but it works. And then yeah, 2600K, yeah, definitely it'll do gigabit symmetrical. How do I access Proxmox when my router is down, if it's on that system? So that's where networking, I have, so my PC is, I have a quad NIC in it, and I have one connection to LAN, and then I have one connection to VLAN 10, which is my server VLAN. You don't need a router for layer 2 network transit. So if this computer, my workstation, is on VLAN 10, then the Proxmox host is on VLAN 10. It's just layer 2. You just go to the IP, and it's not crossing the router at all. It's not going into pfSense at all. Yeah, this is just straight pfSense, no custom anything. You gotta fill that rack. I'm out of U space now. I have 0 U space left. I just got the R410 and the R210, and that pushed it to the max. Like I'm out. And once I'm planning on moving in the summer, and I'll get a 42U rack once I have the space. Yeah, pfSense uses very little. Like let's see what my CPU is at right now. Like my CPU usage is at 0%, and you can see the traffic. It's not using as much as I thought. 500 kilobits? Maybe it's just because I'm not doing a whole lot right now. Maybe if I like wave my arms around, it'll use more bandwidth, but I guess I'm streaming at 3000 for my bit rate. But yeah, this is, so I have an R210. Oh, that's pretty cool. 11U. The R210, it draws, I measured it, now I can't remember. It's not a lot. It's like, it might be 80 watts or something like that, but it has a tiny power supply in it, and the R210 is really small. It's like the size of a router, like a Cisco router. It's really small. But yeah, I'm using 0% CPU usage and 9% of 2 gigs of RAM, and but again, I only have 50 megs for internet, so there's no way I can even, and I can't saturate it using my network connection. I never actually looked at what it was doing moving files around, like maxing out 1 gig. But I guess I don't go over the router for, like, when I do moving files around, it's on the same VLAN, so it's layer 2. It's just going through the switch. I'm 50 over 10. Got that 50 megabits over 10 for my upload. It's pretty trash, but I'm in an older apartment building, and it's just going over the phone lines. I just have DSL, so. See, this is what you guys might have more expensive servers over there, but you guys have the internet packages you guys can get. The US is catching up now with gigabit and stuff like that, but Canada's garbage. The internet plans in Canada and the phone plans, like cellular plans, absolute trash in Canada. 30 watts, it might be even like that. Like it's nothing. It's a pretty low draw. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was talking about this stuff. So VLAN 7 was my IoT camera VLAN. Basically, I do that because the network cameras I have are Chinese. They're relatively cheap Chinese cameras. I got for like 29 bucks on eBay, and the other one, they're both the same, but the other one I bought on Amazon on like Prime Day for like 40 bucks. And I just don't want them to have connection to anything, really. I don't want them to go out to the internet or anything like that. So they're all in their own segregated VLAN that basically only has access to the NVR server, and that's it. And they're blocked from doing anything else. VLAN 10 is the server VLAN. VLAN 11 is my DMZ for web servers and stuff. I don't think I have anything in that right now. VLAN 20 is my management, like IPMI VLAN. So that's for all the iDRAC, ILO, stuff like that. I don't know why you can't post links. I had somebody posting links on my Tarkov stream. I don't know how YouTube chat works. I haven't talked this long for a very long time. I'm losing my voice. I don't know if I can like turn off auto moderator or something. Manage moderators. Oh, I don't want to open this over here. The block links thing isn't checked, so I don't know why it doesn't let you post a link. I don't know. That's weird. Where'd my chat go? Come back, chat. Yeah, I got my water. I'm gonna have to eat at some point, so I might have to pick this up on Friday or something like that. But yeah. Yeah, I guess it's just something for stopping people from spamming links. You already, you know exactly what I'm gonna go get. Yeah, so VLAN 20, that's my IPMI, like out of band control network kind of thing. And then we've got VLAN 99, which is my VoIP, and VLAN 100 was like for PCIe and stuff like that. But I just do that on the server VLAN now because it's not really beneficial to segregate it. And I was getting like routing loops and stuff like that. And I'm not a professional at pfSense, so I like the interface and I like how it works and it's really easy to set up. But I'm all Cisco and Juniper. Yeah, so if we look at firewall rules for VLAN 7, it's just like anything is blocked basically. And I'm surprised that they're not, because I was thinking that they were going to be like sending video and stuff out and that's why I blocked them, but it's over like the past, I don't know, probably a few months, it's only sent 178 megs. They have it's their FOSCam cameras, so they have their own app and they have like a cloud service and stuff like that. So that's why. But I feel better when they're not allowed to reach the internet. Let's go back to this. Yeah, so that VLAN doesn't really do anything. Yeah, I don't know what else to. What was the reason why I came in here? Oh, I came in here just because I was looking to see what I had in here. So yeah, I got an X3440. Not crazy powerful CPU or anything. I don't even know if it's hyper-threaded or not. Oh, it says 8 CPUs, so it's got hyper-threading. 16-day uptime. I think that's when I switched to hardware. Yeah, I could do that actually. Write down some stuff on a sticky note because you guys give me ideas. Where's my pen? It's actually, well, maybe I'll do a more generic VLAN tutorial because once you have VLANs, it's really easy. You just basically you go, you make a VLAN, you assign those. If we go in here, we can open up one of my switches. We'll do the 2960 because it's the PoE switch. And we'll show our run, or running config, and it's really easy with Cisco switches. So you find your port. So fast Ethernet is your port 03. That's port 3. So I have descriptions so I can see what they are. So these are my AP ports. I have them set up for their trunk ports because I have multiple VLANs on the APs. So I have VLAN 2 for my wireless LAN. VLAN 3 for my wireless guest, and then I have VLAN 7 for my wireless cameras. Like an old Apple server, good for $22. Yeah, why not? The 3 terabyte drive is worth more than $22. Go for it. Yeah, so let's look at one of my. See, here's camera 1. So, and then camera 2. You just give them access to that VLAN, so that switch port is on VLAN 7, and then you just assign it an IP. I just use I just have DHCP set up on. I think it's in services, DHCP server. So I just have DHCP set up on VLAN 7, and then I just I force an IP on them for the release, just so I know which one's which for my NVR. And yeah, so I have one wired, and then I have for some reason the wireless and the wired, they can't use the same IP, so I have one on wireless, and then the wired port also has its own IP. Yeah, I'll do a pfSense. Maybe I'll do a pfSense series and go through a lot of the setup, like setting up VLANs and stuff like that. Even well, I guess the VLANs depend on your switch as well, because you have to have a switch that's capable of switching VLAN packets, and then setting up inter-VLAN routing in pfSense is pretty easy. I could even do it with a Cisco router as well. I actually did a VLAN tutorial way back in the day with a Dell switch. There's a Dell switch and with my 1841 Cisco router, so you can check that out as well. Oh, well, yeah, the NVR is in the same VLAN. So if we go over here, this is my NVR VM. So if we log in, I think my login is NVR. Yep. So I have Ubuntu running, and it's running Orchid VM, which is, or Orchid VMS. My latest video is on this, so if you're interested in NVR, or if you've already watched it, that's fantastic. But I have 2 ports on here. So I have my second virtual NIC on VLAN 7 so that the cameras can access this, and then my other one is to my, so it will connect to my proxy server, because I have a proxy, or not the proxy server, for the VPN. The VPN, so I can look at my cameras from, I can VPN into my pfSense, and I can view my cameras from anywhere. Like, I don't have to be home. And I've also got it, this is also connected to the internet, so that I send video data out to a third party, like for data backup and stuff like that. So if someone broke into my house, saw my cameras, ripped them off the wall or whatever, and then stole my server, the video is in the cloud. I might do a video on setting that up, but it's relatively easy. Oh, I am so behind. IVMS. Maybe? What is that? Let's Google it. IVMS. Oh, that's Hikvision's. Hikvision? Hikvision? Yeah, I've heard of it. It's their cameras and stuff are really expensive though, aren't they? IVMS. That's a client. I'm always open to new MVR stuff, because Orchid really doesn't have all the features that I would like alerting and stuff like that. But it just works. It's simple to set up. Bidding gets addicting. Definitely does. I think ESXi actually has a web client now. I'm not sure if the free version gets you access to it, but I'm pretty sure they have you can log in via web. It might be in vCenter that you have to do that. I'll do my WLC stuff as well. Oh yeah, I forgot that we were doing this. Is that still logged in? Okay. Let's clear that. Let's allow unsafe interrupts. It worked. I don't know what IOMMU groups are. And I have none, so I used eBay to get my servers and workstations. Yeah, I use eBay as well. eBay and Kijiji. Hikvision? Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's why I've stayed away from that stuff, just because it's like, it's something you'd use, like, not just in your house, I guess. It's something like businesses use for their security. Check Snap real quick. Why? Somebody posted me on the Homelab subreddit. Oh, okay. Well, I've never used it, so I think I just saw it on like the website or something. I think I need to read a little bit more about what these are. Dedicated IOMM. What does IOMMU mean? Okay. We don't need that open anymore. Don't need that. Well, I already saw what the device address is. I hope it doesn't have more than one. Those are the... Oh, there's two. Oh, that's the audio device, and this is the video device. So that's the one we want. Where did Channing go? I'm gonna mod you, by the way. Okay. And we got node.configuration file. And this is where we map. Oh, okay, so we can do both of those. Or pass all functions automatically. Oh, well, I should probably read this section. Cool. This is a good sign that my Radeon 6000 series graphics card will work. It's good that hosts don't try to use the GPU. That's fine. I'm not using it on the host. Find the device and vendor ID. I already did that, I think. I don't know what the vendor ID is. Oh, okay. Vendor device ID. And blacklist drivers. Well, let's just try and do this and see if it works. Is that what I want? I think it was like 06 or something. It's right here. Oh, it's 600. Okay. So those are the two devices. What do we got? Building file server. 15 terabytes. That's pretty cool. FreeNAS. I've never used FreeNAS. I was looking at it for doing SCSI targets, but you can use iSCSI fine with it, but it doesn't. It has a fiber channel node, but it doesn't really. I don't know. It's not supported. From what I saw, anyway, for using fiber channel. What comment am I checking? Is it me that's checking? I don't know. If it gives me too much hassle. I might have to pick this up on Friday, because I think I'm gonna have to get food. But we can try this first. We got this. Create a file, and we're using the PCI IDs. Okay, that's easy. Let's do that, and we'll switch these to 6758 1002. So we got 1002 6758, and then we've got 1002 AA 90. And it didn't yell at me, so that's a good sign. And then we blacklist drivers. I guess I'll just do that because it says so. Oh, so that's probably so the host doesn't use the GPU. For configuration possible. Let's do the recommended one because it says recommended, but I guess if that doesn't work, we can try the other ones. Replace BIOS by EFI boot. You need to install your guest host with EFI support. It's done. I have Windows 10, I think. Yeah, it's fun just to test stuff. Like, I have no idea if this is gonna work, and we're just figuring stuff out. This is basically just the follow instructions phase, and then when it inevitably doesn't work properly, then you have to dig a little deeper and figure out what's going on. and actually understand what all this stuff is doing. Did I do this already? This looks like the same thing I already did. Echo options, VFIO, PCI, IDs done into mod probe d VFIO.config. Did that already. And then you need your graphic card to have EFI bootable ROM. EUFI bootable ROM. What does this mean? Well, they already said that the one works. Let's just see what we gotta do now. Oh, I don't think I did. I skipped something. I think I need to do this still. And I'm using PCI Express lane, so I probably have to do this as well. Let's read this just to see what. If you're wanting to try legacy OVMF based GPU assignment, support for enabling the ROM through PCIe. Oh, we can try that. It already says up here that it works though, so I'm thinking I'm just gonna skip that step and see if it works anyway. That's what we're gonna get out of it. Eh, maybe not. Let's try it. Let's grab this ROM parser thing. What are we in right now? We're just in. Whoops. We're just in the home folder. Oh, I don't have Git. How do I install stuff on Proxmox? What's it based on? It's not Yum, is it? No. Okay, what's that? What? Okay, well, I'm gonna have to get that. I'm gonna have to find repositories and stuff for that. I'm not gonna do that right now. We'll move on and see if it just works. I think after this. Oh, it already has this stuff down here. Via tips, ROM file. There might be a lot more that I have to do. Disable the VGA parameter. Oh, okay. I didn't look at chat. Okay, that makes sense. You can also add disable VGA equals 1. Which try to update devices from VGA arbitration if possible. I'm just starving. That's why I'm not being able to think straight. We can do this part. And this is vmid.conf. Is this the same folder as the PCI one? Yeah, it is. VMID. Let's do let's see. What was it? PVE EMMU server. I want to see what's in there. Okay, so we have all our configuration files for our VMs. What VM are we using? We're using this one. We're using this Windows one. So VM 110. So let's do 110. Oops. 110. Why does it not work? Conf. New file. Why? Oh, because I'm not in the... Okay, that makes sense. Let's go there. Nano, taking a server /110.conf. There we go. Have you rebooted that VM after already adding the grub line? Like rebooted the whole host? I have not done that. I was thinking it'd probably be something I'd have to do eventually. I just need to add this. I don't know what does the machine Q35 mean? Does that just mean it's PCI Express? Let's add it anyway. Unless somebody in the chat can tell me what that means. Just the VM. The VM's not running right now, so. And then we want host PCI 0. And we're gonna do 0. Oh. 06. I should have probably wrote this down before doing this. I think it's just 0600.0. PCIe equals 1. And did that. The only thing we didn't do was add that VGA, disable VGA 1. The only thing we didn't do. Let's start the host and see what happens. I'm not expecting anything. Let's see if it even starts. It started. Okay, that's good. At least it's Windows, so we can figure out if we if we can see the device after I did that. I still think I need to add more stuff to something. Just make sure it's the right host that I'm adding. Oh, so I put 0.0, so it's just gonna add the video part, not the audio. I don't need the audio anyway. I don't know if you need them both for it to work properly though. Oh no, we got a blue screen. Inaccessible boot device. What is that? Why is it an inaccessible boot device? You probably have to have a license key eventually, but I installed it without a license and it hasn't bugged me yet. I know there's because for Windows deployments where you have a license managing server, they have these things called KMS keys that you put in just to get past the or I don't know if this is what they're supposed to be used for, but you can put them in. Okay, inaccessible boot device. Why? Let's oh, well, I guess if this thing, let's see. Okay, let's stop it and just see if it will start if I take that stuff out of the folder that I just edited. Can I comment in comp files? I'll just get rid of it. Let's just make sure my Windows install isn't messed up before trying to do this. Did it? Oh, hold on. I gotta do this. Oh boy, automatic repair. Let's see if Windows can run. Yeah, if you can't get past the thing that has the, like when you install and it asks for a key, just Google KMS, Windows KMS keys or something like that, and it'll give you a list of like every Windows OS, and it'll give you a sample key, and it'll get you past that. And then eventually it will tell you to use a real key. But if you're just testing stuff, you don't need keys. Also, just a note, if you're in a college, they don't really tell you this, but most, or every college that I've been, oh, what do we got now? Every college that I've been to gives you, oh yeah, this is Windows Server. They give you, Microsoft used to have DreamSpark accounts. Now they're called something else. But they give you license keys for stuff. Like I have a DreamSpark Premium or whatever it's called now. Premium, and it gives you like Windows 10 keys, all the Windows Server software keys. I've got Adobe. And that was just from, like, your tuition pays for it, so you might as well use it. They just don't tell you you have it, so you have to go looking for it. And then my university also had the same thing, so I had 2 accounts for Microsoft DreamSpark. Well, this is further than the last time. We didn't get a blue screen, so I think it's just because that device was inaccessible, maybe? Or maybe I shouldn't have used that device, whatever it was. Not that one. Hey, we're here. So it was what I changed that caused it to not work. So it may. Do I have to add this? No, that's just what outputs from this, I think. Or am I supposed to be adding, am I adding this to, oh, this is the config stuff. Okay, let's try this. So this is the stuff I have to add to config, I think. Unless I'm wrong, I don't know if somebody else knows what they're doing. But let's grab all this. Well, that's dots. I probably actually have to figure out what this is. So we need both of those. boot disk. 0. It's not actually that. I think it already has it in here. Oh, it does. Okay, SCSI 0. Do we have a BIOS thing? No, we don't. So let's add BIOS OVMF. SCSI hardware. For IO SCSI PCI. Sure. Oh, it's already there. Okay, I'm dumb. Boot disk we have, SCSI 0. We don't. I think this is an example of a config file. And then we just need this. And it's our GPU is on 6, and we'll do XVGA on. Why not? Let's try this. Let's see what happens. And VM. Windows, I need you to reboot. And I don't have the VM tools or whatever installed, so I might have to log in. Or I can just power it off. I'll log in. That one? Yay, I got the password right. Let's restart. Actually, no, let's not restart. Let's shut down completely, just because sometimes Proxmox wants you to do that. It's an unplanned restart. And if this doesn't work, I think I'm going to have to go with food, because I'm going to die. And we'll continue on maybe Friday, since tomorrow I have to go. Got to go to the dump tomorrow and throw out my couch and do a bunch of other stuff. But we'll see. Start. Now let's just hope that it boots. Friday, probably a similar time. I started at 3 today. It's already 6. I've been going for 3 hours and 13 minutes now. I wasn't expecting to go this long either. I didn't expect this many people to be watching, which is great. Having chat to talk to, it's a lot easier than just talking to myself. And just to note, my channel's getting rebranded as well. It's not going to be called 50 anymore. I'm probably going to rename it to Homelab or homelab.sh or something like that. Just so I can... Oh yeah, it's late for you. You gotta go to bed. Just so I kind of move towards the Homelab aspect completely instead of it being a personal channel kind of thing. It's passing through to a container. That's pretty cool. What do you need a GPU on a container for? What were you running on the container? All those things, they look so good. Failed to run cannot open. Okay, at least we got an error message here. No such file or directory for the IOMMU group. So I skipped that step earlier because I didn't know what it meant. To have PCI, you need dedicated IOMMU groups for your PCI devices. You should have something like this. Well, I don't. How do I make them? Actually, I might have to reboot the machine before. Oh, video transcoding. Okay, that makes sense. MB. I've never heard of that. Let's look at it. MB. Okay. That's pretty cool. So you have it for streaming video and stuff. So is this similar to Plex? Oh, basically the same thing as Plex. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I use Plex. I don't have a whole lot of media to put on it, so I don't actually use it that much. But so So let's need to have I have a Xeon processor. Let's make sure we have the support. I have older I have older CPUs. Give me what am I looking at? PCI control access control services. So let's do 5600 ACS. That's not what I want. Intel. Just reboot it. Oh, have a good night, DJ Vincent. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's just I try to move away from the gaming aspect of it, because what gets views is Homelab stuff, and I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it the way it is. We'll see. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. It seems like a pain in the ass right now. Let's reboot the server and see if this shows up, since I just added the IOMMU stuff. Do I need to turn anything off? Let's shut down that. Stop that. And shut down that. Yeah, I know, that's the only thing that I would be worried about, is if people that subscribe to me don't know what it is anymore. So, yeah, I think you're right. Maybe I'll leave it the way it is. Oh, I have that already. Like, I have the output from that. I just don't have the IOMMU groups. I don't know why it's AMD here, because I don't have AMD anything other than the graphics card. We'll see. We'll reboot it and see if anything shows up. Oh, I can't restart from command line, I guess. I will go here. Restart. Yes. Oh, this is gonna take a long ass time to restart. Take a look at this anyway. So I don't make them. They should be there if it's compatible. So since we changed that config option earlier, maybe restarting will help, and if not, maybe I'm screwed. So I enabled this. I didn't do this, but I don't know, how do you add these modules? Yeah, I really need a new graphics card. I'm still running a 7950 in my main rig, and I need I need something else, but graphics card prices are so high right now, I can't justify spending money on any of them. Let's open our ILO. I guess I can switch over to this and stare at blinky lights. Oh, that's it? Okay, well, I'll do that. Thank you, Tear Talks. We are on the boot screen now. So we'll get through boot in a few minutes, and I'm gonna eat some powder donuts because I'm starving, and I wanna see if this works before I end the stream and go get food. And I'll probably have to reboot after I add those again. We'll see what happens when it comes up. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna end the stream, and I'll continue working on it I won't do it off stream, just so if anyone's actually interested in watching the whole process, it'll be there. But I'll probably do it on Friday. Hey, Jay Fields, thank you for subscribing if you're watching. Just looking through CPU documentation. Yay, I gotta reboot again. Okay. That might fix the problem though. CPU seems to have everything, so it should work. I don't know. Is this thing done yet? Just loading UEFI. Almost booted. And then I'm gonna go get some tacos, which I think that sounds pretty damn good right now. If they're open. What day is it today? Not working. I always forget what day it is. It's Wednesday today. They are open. Okay. So is Plex not good for streaming out of the house, or what's the difference? I'm not huge into the media stuff, so maybe one day when I actually have a decent TV and entertainment center set up, maybe I'll get into that stuff, but I don't really have a use for it right now. I do have Plex set up. It's just I'm not a Plex professional, and I don't have like all that couch potato and I don't know that other stuff, sonar, that stuff. Haven't screwed around with that stuff yet. Okay, looks like we're rebooted. Yay. So let's go on here. Let's go back to this so you can see what I'm doing. And we'll reset terminal and restart session. And we will do what? We're gonna check this. We gotta add these modules, because I think because I didn't do that, that would probably hinder. And let's see if this. Ah, there we go. You're right. Tier talks. Ah, fantastic. Are they all different now? Just make sure our thing is still the same. And it's still there. Yep, still 6. So we might actually be able to just boot it now. Let's try and run this Windows VM and see if it works. Oh, it started. Let's switch over here. See if we get that. Oh, failed to connect. Why? It started. I can't VNC to it yet. Let's just make sure this make sure these modules are in here. Oh, okay. Well, they're not in there. That might help as well. I think we're on the right track though. I think we're pretty close. What does that do? Reload? Does that do anything? No. Anyone know why that's doing that? Oh! Well. Change failed. Let's let it boot and then see if I can remote desktop for it. Tier Talks, do you have any idea why I can't VNC to it now? Yeah, okay. That's fine now. We'll add, alright, I just added those, right? Oops. I added these. So it should work. Why can't I VNC? Let's try and remote desktop to it. What? Oh, it should be 110. Flex for in-house, mainly. Yeah, the containers are really cool. I haven't played around with them enough. Okay, so it doesn't seem to be doing anything. Let's reset it and see if it fixes it. And if not, I'll reboot the server again. Fast internet streaming. I wish my government was more about making our ISPs expand the infrastructure a little bit. It's getting better. You can get gigabit now. It just depends on where you live. Now, I don't know why it's doing that. They didn't have the disable VGA1 thing. Oh, you know, we're making progress. Tier Talks is giving me a hand. PCIe equals 1. Did I not do that? That would be this. Oh, I didn't do that. How do you find these things that I don't pay attention to? PCIe equals 1. XVGA on. You are on point, my dude. Let's reset this again. I don't know why it would mess with VNC though. Well, I enabled all those modules. I might reboot again, but I'm not gonna have you guys sit here and watch me reboot a server again. So if that works. I'll go over it again the next time. But for now, I gotta get food because I'm gonna die. So thanks everyone who's watched. This is my first Homelab stream anyway, and let's go back to this. We got a couple subscribers. I think we got 3 or 4 over the past couple hours, and hope you guys join me again sometime. I'm gonna try and do it on Friday. If not, it'll be most likely the weekend. But yeah, glad you enjoyed it, Starkey. I have more interesting stuff than this. I just hey, Tier Talks, thank you for subscribing. I don't know, this is just something I had in my head yesterday, and I'm like, well, might as well do it, and I'll try out this stream thing. So next time, if I get this done, or I might just start it with it next anyway. I'm gonna deploy Azure Stack. That might take a while, and then probably work on SAN stuff next week, which would be pretty cool. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys next time, I guess. The stream will also be up on YouTube if you want to watch certain parts or something like that, or watch it over again, or know somebody that would be interested in watching it. So yeah. Connor has the other half of my SAN, and also has not got around to turning it on. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time.